Wholesome Family Series. And yes, we are live again. And today we continue in our discussions around the family, the important areas of the family. It's my pleasure to welcome us today. And I hope that today will be impactful. And today we'll be talking about the critical matters, critical discussions every parent must lead before our children are exposed.
Your ward manager won't tell you this, but I will. Some nurses are thinking too small, not because they lack potential.
To connect to the TikTok live. So here we're having a serious discussion today before they ask someone else. The critical conversations every parent must lead. I've seen some parents raising children but not prepared, not equipped, not ready from some critical areas of life that children will want to ask questions. Some of us, is either we are in denial or we try to avoid these conversations, or we think somehow they will know, they will figure it out. But there's nothing like figuring things out. It's either someone else will have that discussion with your children or you. So today we'll be challenging us to take our position as parents in the life of our children. Because I believe if every parent, but that responsibility still lies on us. You see, the responsibility of protection, dreams, putting them in the best school to achieve their academic qualifications, they are all good. I'm trying to get I'm having difficulty there. I think I will just let it go. So those areas of life that our children requires guidance need structural discussions, conversations that nobody else can take that position. So sometimes we think when they grow, we are waiting for them at a certain age, while they are already being exposed to those conversations. Some of them, we hear it from their classmates, some on social media, right? Some they will be taught in school and you won't even know. But do you know the critical aspect of this important matter we are discussing today is that your children will hear a version that you may not even want them to hear. They may hear the lies that people have packaged to sell those areas of life. They may get the information in contradiction to your family values. So, if we don't have these conversations, someone else will give them a configured information that may contradict your family standard. Most of our children already have celebrities they follow. They already have content creators, they admire their content. And this content may not be in alignment to what you believe. So I was reading a conversation on social media where a young girl was asking a celebrity if it's okay to engage in sexual relationship, all right, sex before marriage. Now, this is a teenager, right? I think around 12 years or so. The content creator or the celebrity had to bring it up on social media and was like, this girl keep asking her this question. And she keep asking this child, go back to your parents. They are in the best position to guide you. But apparently, this child or preteen or teen has more confidence in the celebrity than she has in the parent. Because if she has had that serious conversation with her parent and she's convinced, she won't keep bugging the celebrity she's following to get her perception. So even if she has had that conversation and with their parents, if she keep going back to that celebrity, it means, like I said, the celebrity has a higher or upper hand over her choices, which means she's depending on that celebrity to decide what she will stand for. So what is it telling us? That there is a gap between her parents and that child for her to keep seeking the advice or the counsel of a celebrity that she has not met one-on-one. She just met her online to decide a destiny decision and choices for her. So you see, children are growing rapidly. The world is going fast. Information is everywhere, but wisdom is lacking. So your child want to seek information, they Google it. They go to AI or ChatGPT. They get all the information, but you see the wisdom to make decision around that information is not gained from social media, it's not gained online, it's gained from the serious conversations parents have with their children. It comes from your daily interaction and choices and decisions around the home, in the family that your children are seeing every day, they are picking, that is forming their mindsets and conscience. The world now is no longer ruled by what is right and what is wrong, because people have different, diverse, and even perverse perception to a singular factor. So it's the voice that is louder that tends to influence our children in this generation. And guess the voices that are louder? The wrong ideas, the trending ideologies. That's what is gaining higher ground. The wider the perception and people agreeing and working with it, the more concrete it is in the life of our children. Because people tend to work with what is prominently accepted online. So you see, they are constantly exposed to the messages about identity, their relationship, sexuality, mental health, faith, and purpose from what they are consistently exposed to. So the voices around them that are louder and persistent often get grip of their heart and their mind. So even if it's confusing, they will embrace it because that is what is loud and that is what is consistent. So today, we are going to ask serious questions and discuss matters. What are those things that parents need to? Because at the end of today, our goal is to make sure that every parent occupy their position as a trusted voice, right? Not being perfect or having the whole knowledge, but let your voice be that voice that your children can depend on, can count on, can trust. You see, when we talk about bonding, when we talk about emotional intelligence in parenting, is to build a trusted relationship where your voice matters in the life of your children, in the ears of your children, more than every other noise around them. So, what is the reality of our children world today? So, the world our children are operating is growing differently from the one many of us grew years ago. So, whether we like it or not, today, like we said, information is everywhere, but wisdom is scarce. Eh? Today, comparison is a daily habit. People are living out out of their skin, out of themselves, just to compare, to please, to make sure they are accepted, they align to the social concept. Today, social media is shaping the opinions and values of many. When you were growing, what was the percentage of social media impact in your life? Compare it to now. And that's where I pity some parents. You will give your child a phone, a child that is still in school trying to figure out life. You will give them phone. You will allow them to be on social media. You allow them to be playing games without structure, without supervision. You are exposing them to confusion and uncertainties. By the time they are supposed to make life decisions about their destiny, they are confused. Forget about the negative impact of screen on their brain. The exposures of the things that happen in social media. Do you know how confusing it can be? So, for example, go and check out all those conversations that take place on social media where someone will create a scenario or bring up a challenging topic. Look at the comments. You see how warped a lot of people's mindsets are. Those are the things your children are picking. And those are the things forming their mindsets. So in our children's world now, identity is constantly questioned and redefined. So even those ideologies, those values you are teaching your children, they will be tested on social media. They will be tested in their classrooms. They will be tested wherever they find themselves in future. Thank you for joining us in this live session. Please kindly share to other families. So it doesn't just end in what you are teaching and exposing your children. You have to consciously follow through. What are those areas of life that you, as an individual, you struggled with, you were exposed to, but you are closing your eyes to and doing like it doesn't exist and thinking your children will be saved from it? No, they will it's all over their faces, unlike before. Before, there are things you do while growing up, you hide it under the carpet. Now, people are sharpening and packaging it and selling it out there to you and our children, to us, to our children. Today, truth is often treated as a personal preference. We get a lie, package it, and those that even have the truth don't have the boldness or confidence to sell it out there. Eh? So you see, our children face a lot of pressure that many of us never experienced at our age. Pressures like social media addiction, cyberbullying, peer pressure. We had peer pressure, but you see, in this generation, their level of pressure is up there. Exposure to explicit content, adverts, unsolicited advert. Your child will be on the tablet. Advert they didn't ask for will pop up. And they have inquisitive mind. Before you know it, they have clicked. So you see them, mental health challenges is more prominent now. So I know people complain if you say anything, they will say their mental health. If you say anything, that's the truth. But that does not mean you should be lenient. It's just to create awareness that our children's mental health are at stake. Games they play, and they are challenged to do things they shouldn't do. Have we not heard of children committing suicide from the prompting from the games they are playing? Was it like that when we were growing up? So if we want to be realistic, we need to compare all these factors. So you see, in this generation, children confuse identity and purpose with what is sellable, what is obtainable, what is being sold out to them. They keep questioning who they are. They lose insight to where they are going. And that's why I pity children without parents and children with parents that lack insight or are not intentional. Some of us, we make a lot of money, but our children are losing it. So I ask myself, or I ask parents, if you make all the money in the whole world and you lose those children you're making the money for, not as in aspect of dying, no, but you lose them to the social uh, wickedness out there. You lose them to lack of immorality and lack of purpose and focus. You lose them to mental health sectors. What will be the fulfillment? What will be the fulfillment? I see a lot of children struggle, and you can trace it to families. You can trace it to lack of emotional connection and support with their own parents, because parents are too busy to connect, to see the struggles the children are going through. So you see children are facing the challenges of the fear of missing out with what their peers are enjoying, constant comparison. And because there's no intentional parents being around to reassure, to guide, and to keep showing them that this path they are going is the right path and not the other way. When the temptation and the challenge and the pressure becomes overbearing, unbearable, they will give in. And you will be like, oh, that my child is a responsible child. Or you have lost that child to occultic practices in school. And you don't know. Your child still come home and still he's still that gentle and calm son or daughter. But you don't know that they are struggling with their destiny out there. So we need to take our position of influence, okay, so that we can save our children from the danger of the pressure of navigating life. So when you stay silent, you give room for confusion, you give room for uncertainties in the life of your children, and you leave them to make a major life decision that they are not yet equipped to make. So why does parents avoid these conversations? So you see, many parents, they genuinely want to talk to their children about some issues. And some of us, we know it. We know what we went through that we couldn't talk to our parents about. Maybe due to the atmosphere at home, because of fear of what our parents, some of us said, some things we went through was from close relative, maybe our parents' uncles, eh, or their cousins or nephews or niece, family members that you don't want to say this thing so you don't cause conflict. But it should give you wisdom to the possibilities that your children may be going through. So you see, some parents don't have serious conversation because they are afraid of saying the wrong things. Some of us, we want to talk about some issues, but we don't know how to start. We don't have the accurate information or updated information. We are uncertain how our children will take it. Do you know the way it is? Parents should stay up with knowledge, with information about areas of life that children or young people or youth struggle with. Get information. Read. Don't be scrolling on social media with content that make you laugh and time is passing. Read. Begin to build yourself on how to build a relationship that connects you with your children so they can feel relaxed at home and they can feel free to ask you questions. And do you know, before some questions should come, you should have had that conversation. There's what we call the principle of first mention. When you mention something first, when you are the first person that mentions it to a child, it has a stronger grip than when they hear it from outside and bring it to your table, and then you are trying to navigate the conversation around your own perception or value or family standard. Especially if the person that mentioned it first has given the wrong or warped information. So if your children have heard about sexual matters from their peer or an adult that is packaging and harnessing and grooming them for exploitation, by the time you hear it, things might have even gone. By the time it gets to your table, by the time your child feels comfortable enough to ask you, they would have done their own research. They would have done Google research, Chat GPT research that might not align to your family value. And some of us, we use fear-based training. So, hey, don't do this, so you will catch infection, you will get pregnant. Now, these children know how to avert those things. Pregnancy is not the issue, it's not even a matter in issues of sex for young people. Now they offer them reproductive education and they will give them